Yo, YouTube, what is up? Welcome back to the Radar for Wrestling Studios.
What up, Marks?
Guys, NXT just finished up. We got 2 takeaways from the show that have big implications for that big New Year's Evil show that they have coming up day before New Year's Eve. So we have a lot to get into. We have the host name for that show as well,
which is the most important thing.
We have a new #1 contender who will face Finn Balor at New Year's Eve.
Second most important thing.
We have a lot of big things to get into. More stuff going on with the women's division developing as every week goes by in NXT. So we got a lot to get into. But before we do, you know what time it is. I want to remind you guys, drop a like on this video and the previous videos, like AEW Dynamite takeaways and the AEW is better than WWE video I just dropped today as well. Make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're not subscribed. Hit that subscribe button. Notification bell, guys, alert when new videos drop, like this one and the previous ones that have dropped and the future ones that will drop. Follow me on social media, Instagram, Twitter, Twitch, TikTok, all the same handles. Follow me on all those social platforms. Really do appreciate any support I can get there. Also, in the description section below, you know what it is. We got 3 links: Fight TV, Honor Club, Amazon, highspots.com. Shop through all those 3 things and sign up through all that stuff. But make sure you use the links in the description section below because it kicks back to the channel, helps out a lot. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. Let's get into it. 2 takeaways from NXT. NXT started off surprisingly with a match. Yeah, Leon Ruff and Kushida going against, they're called The Ways, Johnny Gargano and Austin Theory. So the group, Candice LeRae, Indy Hartwell, Johnny Gargano, Austin Theory, called The Ways. Terrible. I guess. Whatever. Theory and Gargano got the win here, beating the Ruff and Kushida. Remember, Damian Priest knocked out of this because the attacks from Karrion Kross. So it was what it was. It was a fine match. Kushida's the man. We were excited to see him eventually face Johnny Gargano for that North American Championship.
Yes, we will.
Let's get straight to it, though. But during this, after the match, you see Dexter Lumis hanging out on the perch that is in the Capitol Wrestling Center. He's there drawing. Surprisingly technology savvy. He's drawing on an iPad with one of those stylus pens instead of just the actual thing. But whatever, he draws, and he ends up drawing later on throughout the show. He's drawing that he's the host of New Year's Evil, which nobody really cares. He does a funny spot where he just stares like daggers into the camera afterwards. But that's pretty much it.
He's a Renaissance man. He's a wrestler. He's an artist. He can make zombies come back from the dead. I mean, he can do it. He can do it all. He does it all.
He does it all. So, but in the end, we're excited to see Kushida and Gargano eventually go at it for that championship. Next thing on the show, we had Tommaso Ciampa going against Tyler Rust, with Thatcher watching at the end. I thought it was a very, very good match. Ciampa's Rust got a lot more in than I thought he was gonna get.
That's what I was gonna tell you right now. Like that was probably a little bit unnecessary. I don't think Ciampa needs to give that guy that much. Maybe a little bit would have been all right. But come on, I mean Rust. I was like, who's this again? So I don't know about that.
Yeah, I mean he had Ciampa in the Rings of Saturn. Almost made him tap out to that stuff. But
I was like, what's going on? Yeah,
in the end he got the win. Thatcher and Ciampa will get into an argument at the end. That feud continues. Later on, you see Malcolm Bivens talk to Russ about his loss. So maybe he's trying to get Russ to become part of his crew again. Remember, he had those 2 in this sure guys, but then one of them leaked that Keith Lee was winning both titles that night. That Keith Lee won, and we never saw him after that. So we'll see what happens. Maybe they make a comeback and Tyler Russ is part of the crew, but we'll see what happens. Next thing on the show, #1 contenders match: Kyle O'Reilly versus Pete Dunne. This is takeaway #1 because Kyle O'Reilly is the winner in a tremendous match. These guys have tremendous chemistry with each other. They had a tremendous ladder match before War Games and another tremendous match here to see who be faces and NXT champion Finn Balor for that NXT title at New Year's Evil. Kyle O'Reilly is your winner in a tremendous matchup. I'm excited to see the rematch from NXT TakeOver, those few takeovers ago, where he did break the jaw of Finn Balor in that match, in a tremendous match where Finn Balor retained this title. It will be interesting to see how Kyle O'Reilly fares in this one. I don't think he's going to win. I think the matchup is Finn Karrion Kross for that championship eventually down the road and the next takeover most likely. But it's cool to see him there, and it Dunn shows that even though we knew it before, he shows it again that he's ready for that spot to be in a matchup against the champion for the championship belt and eventually become NXT champion.
Yeah, great match. I mean, these guys, like, they can just make a great match anytime, anywhere place on the planet. It could be outside in a backyard. They'll have one of the best matches. They're just that good. So we knew that was just great. It was a long match. It was probably like 20 minutes. I felt like right in the middle of the show. Loved the timing of it. It made it go so good. And then, of course, we're going to see the match of 2020, O'Reilly Finn again. I mean, that was the match. There hasn't been anything close to it. That was like #1 match of the year. I think that's the consensus around the world. That is the greatest match of the year. And we're going to open up 2021, which I'm sure is going to be maybe better. I think it might be better because these guys are that good and they had one time in the ring, and now they can just build off of that and create something magical. So I'm excited for that match. Kyle O'Reilly is really, really, really good. So good. I would love to see him champ one day. I'm not sure if they'll make him champ. I think he'll go down like the Daniel Bryan route, where he's a hell of a hand, not a great promo, and it might take him longer to reach those lofty goals of being a champion. But I think that's definitely in his future. But I mean, I'm excited for that match. And Pete Dunne, again, there's so much talent in NXT, and they're just showing a little bit of the cusp of where it's going. I'm excited for the future of NXT.
Yeah, so am I. I'm super excited for the future of NXT. You know, I was thinking they should bring back some guys, but you know, the way it's headed, it's looking good, but you know they can always use the help by bringing back some of those established talent that's floundering on the main roster, and they can bring them back. But for the most part, the new talent coming in, the new chances being given to the likes of Kyle O'Reilly, Pete Dunne coming back into the fold after being gone for such a long time, he's back in there. We can maybe see a Tyler Bate come in too as well, guys like that from NXT UK, like they're bringing the grizzled young vets. It'd be pretty interesting to see. But guys, let's take away number one. Kyle O'Reilly, your new number one contender, will face Finn Balor New Year's Evil for that NXT Championship. Excited to see that matchup, the rematch from NXT Takeover. So it should be pretty cool. We'll see who ends up on top there. Next match on the show, we had Shotzi Blackheart going against Indy Hartwell. The feud continues between Shotzi, Candice LeRae. Blackheart gets a win by disqualification because Candice LeRae gets in there with the trophy, and they beat her ass down, and then they stand over the top of her victorious. I do not like the group of Indy, Candice, it's Austin Theory, and Gargano. It feels super forced, and it feels like not natural, and it feels weird.
It doesn't really make any sense. I was digging just a power couple, crazy power trip couple. Like, that was cool. We could do that, but I don't know. He kind of just feel out of left field. I know the Indy Hartwell, they've been working it for a little bit, which is helping them out, but I don't know. It's like, Yeah. And Austin Theory, I like the kid. He got the look, he got the style. He's really good in the ring. I don't know. He's not connecting right now. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, it's not really working out. They don't all mesh together. It's kind of weird. Yeah,
I mean, maybe over time, maybe a couple of if this hook up for a month, maybe they can get a flow. I mean, the name sucks. Get rid of the name.
Yeah,
If they build up a little bit over the next few months or weeks, whatever. Maybe they can build something. Right now, it's choppy to start.
Yeah, it wasn't all that good. So Blackheart gets the win by disqualification. That feud continues between Candice LeRae and Shotzi Blackheart. Next thing on the show, big time stuff. Karrion Kross makes his in-ring return going against Desmond Troy. Absolutely destroys him, wins by submission. But big time stuff. He's going to be taking on Damian Priest at New Year's Evil. It's a stopping point, just to get him back in the ring before he takes on Finn Balor for that championship or whoever the champion is going into that next takeover. So that's pretty cool. Backstage interview, you had Isaiah Swerve Scott talking about how he didn't shake the hand of Jake Atlas last week. It is what it is. Whatever. They have issues. We'll see that feud probably play out. Everrise took over the interview, through a terrible interview. It was pretty embarrassing from Everrise. Was not good.
I'm not sure if that was supposed to be like that because it was that bad. Where I thought maybe they were trying to be bad.
Yeah, I don't know. It was pretty bad. It was not good. But let's get to the main event. Rhea Ripley going against Toni Storm in a rematch from the finals of the NXT UK Women's Championship tournament those couple of years ago, where Toni Storm got the win here, and then Toni Storm gets the win again, and it's takeaway number 2 as she loses to Toni Storm. Toni Storm is victorious, but with the help of Raquel Gonzalez. Now, we all knew this was going to happen. Going in after NXT War Games last week, you saw Rhea Ripley, Raquel Gonzalez to be the next feud coming before Raquel Gonzalez probably goes on to face Io Shirai eventually. So, New Year's Evil will most likely be Ripley versus Gonzalez, and most likely Gonzalez getting the win there, and then her being ready to face Io Shirai for that championship. It sucks that she's taking the losses, Rhea Ripley, but she's in a position where she's such a massive star in the division where she's being used to get other people that shine in order to get them ready for other spots, and then eventually Rhea Ripley will become NXT Women's Champion again. So it's just a matter of time, but she is in that weird position where she's so big that she's being used in that kind of helping role to help more people in the division get over and be legitimate, so she has more people to play with, and they all succeed together in the end.
Yeah, because again, I feel like this women's division is being built for the long term. NXT is its own entity right now, especially going against AEW every night. They're building a strong group of talent, a great roster that's very, they got the great women's division. They're building the men's championship division, so they have a great base right now. So I just think they're trying to build. They got Rhea here, like you said, and they're just gonna build the rest of it around her. And then soon she'll be the queen. I really don't think they're gonna move women or a lot of people back to the main roster, back and forth. I just don't think it makes sense right now, especially because they're not really traveling. They're just kind of in their own base. They can make have smaller groups, which is probably better. So yeah, I mean, again, like we said, NXT is very exciting. I think we're you had a good tweet out the other day about what's your favorite WWE brand, and a lot of people said NXT. It's not the same as it was before. It's not the same because you don't have Samoa Joes, you don't have Shinsuke Nakamura, you don't have Sami Zayn, like that crew, Bayley's and Sasha's, like that crew is all gone. There's not a live crowd at Full Sail. Doesn't have the same feeling, underground feeling as it does. But they're slowly but surely building a group of guys and a group of ladies that can take the NXT and bring it back to where it was 2 or 3 years ago.
Yeah, definitely. They do have that young group of people that can actually elevate the company, the brand again back to somewhere where it was before and have that same feeling it used to have. So it can happen, and I think it will happen with the people they have here. But obviously, remember last week we had Toni Storm and Io Shirai going at it. So this matchup was kind of like, you knew Toni Storm was going to end up winning because she's going to face Io Shirai most likely at New Year's Evil and be that stopping point, that stopgap between Io Shirai and Raquel Gonzalez eventually happening. So because it all plays together. Raquel Gonzalez pinning Io Shirai at War Games in the War Games matchup. It's all kind of flowing together. You know where it's headed. So excited to see how that all turns out. But guys, that's takeaway number 2. That's the episode we have for you guys today. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. Remember, for this work, brother, do not do the job.